students, today we will be starting our first chapter, inverse trigonometric functions from grade 12 CBSE. Right. So most of you have some difficulty in this chapter by memorizing so many formulas in it. Okay, so I'll explain you with help of a shortcut which will be more useful so that you'll get some idea without memorizing the regular formulas and you'll be getting the answers. Right. So I'll explain you with the help of the graph. Okay, which is very familiar for you, what you would have learned in your previous classes. Okay. So we call it as quadrant graph. What is this quadrant graph? So we'll be mentioning everything under first quadrant, second quadrant, third and fourth quadrant. Right. So when an angle lies between 0 to 190 degree, we call it as first, second, third and fourth. First, second, third and fourth. Right. So we call these quadrants as all, silver, tea and cups. Okay. What is this all, silver, tea and cups? All in the sense, all the trigonometric functions which lie in the first quadrant will be positive, and the trigonometric function which comes in the second quadrant, sine theta and cosecant will be positive. Okay, sine and cosecant theta. Right. Then in third quadrant, tan and cot will be positive. In fourth quadrant, cos and secant will be positive. I hope you all are very clear with this, which you have learned in your previous class, in class 11. Right. So with the help of this, I am going to solve few problems from the inverse trigonometric functions. Right. Next, I am going to explain you, okay, while solving particular trigonometric ratio with the help of quadrants. Sir, when you get an value, suppose we are getting a value sine theta. Okay, sine theta value will lie in first quadrant and fourth quadrant. Cosecant theta, which is ulta of sine, even that lies in first and fourth quadrant. Similarly, cos and its ulta, secant, okay, which lies in first and second quadrant. Right. Next, tan theta. In this case, if you find what is tan theta, so tan theta is nothing but sine theta by cos theta. So the ratio which comes in the numerator is dominant over here. So the dominant over here is sine theta. So sine theta comes under first and fourth quadrant. Similarly, tan theta also comes in first and fourth quadrant. Next is cot theta. Cot theta is cos theta by sine theta. So the dominant over here is cos theta. So cos theta comes in first and second quadrant. Please have a note of this. So while solving this, I'll be explaining you the answer only with help of these data. Right. So when you look into all the ratios, all the ratios will be positive only in first quadrant. The quadrant which comes after first quadrant, that is 4, second and this fourth quadrant will be for negative values, which is adjacent of first quadrant, and the fourth quadrant is also adjacent of this first quadrant. Right. So have a note of this. Now I'll explain you another table which you have learnt in your class 10, but I am going to extend the table. Right. So in your class 10, you would have learnt about trigonometric ratios for 0, 30, 45, 60 and 90. So you would have learnt, or you would have marked up the whole table of all the trigonometric ratios. Now I am going to extend the same table till 360 degree. When it's 90, add 30, 15, again 15, 30, 30, 15, 15, 30, 30, 15, 15 and 30. Right. So have a note of this table, which will be more useful while solving the particular problem. Right. Now I'll be solving few problems from your textbook so that you will get an idea how to find the principal value of these data. Let us see the solution of cos inverse of root 3 by 2. That is, I am going to find the principal value of cos inverse of root 3 by 2, right? So for what angle of cos theta, you will get root 3 by 2. So what you have learned in your class 10, okay, with this help of that, we know that cos 30 degree is root 3 by 2. Now, with the help of this table, what I am going to explain you is, when it is cos 30, cos 150, cos 210 or cos 330, everything will give you value of root 3 by 2. Okay, whether it's positive or negative, I am telling in the sense of magnitude as root 3 by 2. Right? Now, we all are familiar that cos theta will be positive in first quadrant, negative in second quadrant. The range of cos theta is first and second quadrant. So, since it is positive, the range is in first quadrant, right? So, first quadrant of cos inverse of root 3 by 2 is 30 degree when you write in radians, which is pi by 6. Similarly, when it is cos minus root 3 by 2, okay, in this case, the value is negative. Since I have mentioned you in the above session that cos value will be under first and second quadrant. Since it is negative, it comes in second quadrant. So when you look at the value of second quadrant, which is the directly vertically below this 30 degree, which is 150 degree. So cos will be 150 degree when it is negative. When it is negative root 3 by 2, the value which comes below this 30 degree is 150 degree. So 150 degree is nothing but 5 into 30 degree, which is 5 pi by 6. This is the way you can find the value of principal value of any trigonometric ratio. Now I'll explain you with some other ratio, right? Cosecant inverse of root 2, right? So cosecant inverse of root 2, we all are familiar with the term cosecant is nothing but reverse of sine. Okay, so sine 45 degree is 1 by root 2. Similarly, cosecant inverse of root 2 will be 45 degree. So cosecant 45, cosecant 135, 225, 315, everything will be root 2, right? Since it is comes under the first and fourth quadrant, since it's positive, the principal value of cosecant inverse of root 2 will be first quadrant value. So what is first quadrant value? Sir, which is 45 degrees. 45 degrees nothing but which is pi by 4. So when it is cosecant inverse of negative root 2, cosecant inverse of negative root 2, right? We know that the range of cosecant theta is it will lie in the first quadrant and fourth quadrant. Since it is negative, it lies in the fourth quadrant. So fourth quadrant is 315 degrees. Fourth quadrant value is 315 degree, which comes exactly below the 45 degree value, right? So in trigonometric, in inverse trigonometric function, we will mention any angle which lies between negative 180 to positive 180, right? So no need to worry that I'm explaining you something new. It's nothing but okay, in inverse trigonometric function, all the angles has to be mentioned between minus 180 to plus 180. Suppose when the value is above 180 degree, subtract 360, which is minus 45 degree. So minus pi by 4. Right? So suppose when I am getting an angle in negative, suppose minus 100 degree, minus 120 degree. In that case, you can add 360 to that, your answer will not change. When you get a value above 180, subtract 360. When you are getting a value below negative 180, add 360. Right? So you will have a doubt. Sir, when I add 360 or subtract 360, whether my answer will change? Your answer will never change. Now I'll explain you how does this 360 will not affect your answer, right? Suppose I'm drawing a line, okay, which makes theta degree with positive x-axis. Now suppose I am going to add 360 degree to this line. When you add 360 degree, after the rotation of 360 degree, the point comes to the same starting point, right? Suppose if you subtract 360, it will come back and it comes to the same point. So when you add 360 or subtract 360, your answer will never change. Suppose when I add 360 degree thrice, okay, one time, second time and third time, still you will come to the same point. So it doesn't make any sense of getting wrong answer, because how much ever the 360 degree you add or 360 degree you subtract, your answer will not change much. So you will be getting the right answer. Okay, if you have any doubt in this, okay, you can ask your doubts in the comment section, which I'll explain in the next class, right? Next one, suppose I'll give you a data, right? Okay, tan inverse of root 3 and tan inverse of negative root 3, right? So first I'll find the tan inverse of root 3, which is very familiar for you, because since it is positive, the angle comes in first quadrant. So in first quadrant, we know that tan value will be root 3 under 60 degree, which is pi by 3. But when it comes negative root 3, right? Already I said you, the dominant in tan inverse is sine, where sine is positive in first quadrant and negative in fourth quadrant. Same way, tan will be negative in fourth quadrant, right? So the angle over here is 60 degree, right? So when you come under 60 degree, the value which comes in fourth quadrant is 300 degrees. As I said you in the previous sum, okay, when the angle is above 180, subtract 360 from this, so which is minus 60 degree. So negative pi by 3 will give you the answer, right? So if you have any doubts in this, you can mention in the comments. I'll explain in the next class. So with the help of this, you can solve any problem under principal value, so that you'll get an idea. No need to go for that first quadrant values at pi plus theta, pi minus theta. Those who find difficulty in understanding those concepts, you can use this table, which will be more helpful in the chapter. Now I'll explain this problem. Okay, I'm going to find the solution of this with the help of the principal value, with the method what I've explained in the previous session, right? So cos inverse of 1 by 2. We know that since it is positive, okay, cos value will be 1 by 2 when it is 60 degrees. So pi by 3, 2 into sine inverse of 1 by 2. We know that sine is 1 by 2 when the angle is 30 degree. 30 degree is nothing but pi by 6. So pi by 3 plus pi by 3. Divide both the values by 2, which is 1 time and 2. So your answer will be 2 pi by 3. Right? Now similarly, I'll solve another problem. Okay, because this is the one of the simplest problem. Now I'll explain you another problem, right? Tan inverse of 1 plus cos inverse of minus 1 by 2 plus sine inverse of minus 1 by 2. Right? Okay. So the tan value is 45 degree. So tan inverse of 1 is 45, which is pi by 4. Next, cos inverse of minus 1 by 2. So we know that cos value, which is negative over here. So the value lies in second quadrant. Okay, right? So when cos is 1 by 2, so when it is 60 degree, it's 1 by 2. The value which comes in second quadrant is 120. What is 120? So 2 pi by 3. Right? Next, sine inverse of minus 1 by 2. Okay, what is sine inverse of minus 1 by 2? The value comes in the fourth quadrant. Okay, sine is 1 by 2 under 30 degree. So the value which comes below 30 degree is 330 degree. Since I already said you, when the angle is more than 180, subtract 360 from this, which is minus 30 degrees. Okay, so minus 30 degrees is nothing but minus pi by 6. Right? Now, when it is minus pi by 6, you can find the LCM of this. So LCM of this is nothing but, okay, 12 is 3 pi, 8 pi minus 2 pi, right? So which will be 3 plus 8, 11 minus 2 is 9 pi by 12, which is 3 pi by 4, right? This is the way how do you solve this problem with the help of the table what we have solved. Okay, now I'll solve the same problem in different way, right? I hope you remember a formula that sine inverse of x plus cos inverse of x is pi by 2. Since you consider this value as x, sine inverse of x plus cos inverse of x is pi by 2, right? You can take LCM as 4, which is pi plus 2 pi. So 3 pi by 4. Even this method you can solve. So when you find the method which is very easy for you, you can apply those method, or any method which is mathematically right is accepted in your board evaluation. So you can use this method also and the previous method also. It's up to you, which you feel very easy. You can just stick to that. Thank you.